Hello, welcome back to the Sad Alcoholic Kitchen. My name is Matt. I'm a sad alcoholic, and this is my kitchen. We're back at it again. We're coming up with an oldie but a goodie. It's simple, but surprisingly tasty. It's something my mom came up with when we were renovating half of our house. We didn't really have access to a real kitchen, so a lot of our meals were kind of like something that she just threw in a pot. And this is one of them that ended up being actually good. It stuck with me, and I really enjoy it. It's called Enchilada Casserole. We got all our ingredients here, and we're gonna throw all these together. You know, I actually found this in the store. I've heard that the black label El Yucateco is actually really good, so I figured I'd give it a try. And hopefully not too spicy, because when I eat spicy before the day before the job, when I go to work, I have one of those bodies that the second I get to the job, my body says it's time to poop, and spice tends to exacerbate that situation. So we're not going to go super crazy with the spicy. We'll cook it all up. But last time I made this, I had it every day for like a week and a half, and I didn't get tired of it. It's really tasty. So we're gonna make it again. It's been a while, and we're gonna see how it goes. Believe it or not, we're starting off with chopping the onions, mincing the garlic to go with it. I recently came into a large amount of farm fresh Vidalia onions, and I'm probably not going through them as quickly as I would like because some of them are starting to go bad a little bit. So I'm going to chop off the bad parts, cut them up, and hopefully this is more salvageable than I intend. Yeah, there was not much to salvage. It's still pretty good, but probably going to add another half of onion. Well, like this plus another half. Boom, onions and garlic chopped and minced. Next we're going to throw their meat. I put it in the fridge. We're going to throw our meat in here, cook it up. I had a little difficulty cleaning my pan. I got a little stuck on. I tried for a long time. It didn't really come off, but you know, it'll come off at some point. But we're going to cook up our meat, and we're going to throw in our onion and garlic, our spices. I have more than this. And we'll get that going. Alright, we're cooking up our beef. I got, you know, based on the 2 packages that I got, it's probably more like 2.5 pounds. We added our salt, pepper, garlic powder, and our sinful ramen concoction. We're going to be adding more cumin, because I love cumin. It goes great in tacos. We got our chipotle and nacho chili pepper. And we got our taco seasoning. We're going to mix all that up. And I know that Uncle Roger doesn't like it when you add water and let it cook off, but I think it really helps coat the meat in the flavor better, maybe? Could be talking about out of my ass, but that's what I think. We'll mix that up all together. We will add the onion and garlic, and that will be our meat base for the enchilada casserole. Boom, we open our cans of beans. While our meat is cooking, it's starting to get there. It's obviously going to take a while. In the meantime, we can dump our beans, we call it, or rinse them off, get those ready. I'm going to end up throwing in this leftover smoked Gruyere block on top of all this extra cheese. We'll open up these cans of enchilada sauce at some point, and then we can really start getting going. Obviously, I ended up going with a very much more large portion than I tend to make. I don't know why I do this to myself. I make so much food, and sometimes I don't have enough time to eat it all before it starts to go bad. But honestly, with this dish, I think it's going to be fine, because it's really tasty and good, and I love it, and I'll eat it every day for like a month, so there you go. Alright, the meat's pretty much cooked up. We got our spices in there. I almost forgot to add in the hickory smoke powder. I love that smoky flavor. I'm going to toss a pretty good amount of that in there. Don't forget the water. You know, obviously, we're going to stir this up and cook it up, get these spices and all the meat all really nice. And introduce all these flavors. I'm going to add more water, honestly. We're going to taste it before we finish, because obviously, why would you not taste and adjust the flavors of your main item of the food, the meat, before you throw it in. So we're going to add more water, mix it up, adjust the flavorings, and come back for the next step. Alright, we got our meat ready. More or less, not quite yet. I added a bunch of different seasonings. It was not nearly good enough. I added some more ramen concoction and some more cumin, some more chipotle for that smokiness. So we're at a pretty good consistency. Not consistent. In terms of spices, yes. In terms of how liquidy this is, not so much. So obviously, when you add water to something to introduce the flavors, you reduce it. I would hope that's obvious anyway. Who wants soft, like really good, gross, soggy meat? So we're gonna reduce this, get a lot of this moisture off it, make it more viscous, I guess, and then we'll start off with the next step. Oh no, I actually forgot to add the onions and the garlic. What a fucking fool I am. So here's this. We'll probably add a little bit more water, cook it down a little more, because I'm not a huge fan of crunchy onions in my food. So we're gonna make sure this is nice and translucent, solid, and cooked through. And once again, then we'll start the next step. All right, we got our meat done. I put in the water and I put on the pan lid on the top and let it sit. And all of the oil and everything ended up kind of like boiling over the top of it and all over my stove and everything. And it's a little messy, but honestly, getting that oil out is probably for the best. We're on to our next step. Finally, it's been a lot longer than you might believe. We got our beer grated up. We got our beans rinsed and ready to go. We got our pot, Dutch oven, if you may, and we got a plate and our tortillas. So basically, what we're gonna do is what I've always done: pour a little bit of enchilada sauce in the bottom of the pot, get a little all over the place. We're gonna add some cheese to it. Basically, what we're doing is making a white people taco Mexican lasagna. So put a little bit of cheese in. On the bottom, the first time I made this dish, I ended up making like a perfect like cheese crispy base. And this had to have been a decade ago. I've never been able to recreate that, no matter what I do. I don't know how I did it, but it was awesome. So put the cheese in first, then we go with, what we'll do is we'll take the enchilada sauce, put it in a plate, take the tortillas, dip it in the sauce, and then we'll lay it down in the pot, in the bottom of the pot as like a base layer. Then we'll add the meat, the beans, the cheese, rinse and repeat. More dipped tortillas, then the meat, the cheese, the beans, so on and so forth, until we get to the end. I tend to like to add like a wider layer, because if you kind of do it small, it gets super high in the middle and it's a little less so on the outside. You'll see what it looks like at the end, but I think it ends up coming out pretty good. Alright, so boom, base layer. I like to do like a layer of 5 tortillas on top of that cheese layer on the very base level. Put that, then we'll put the meat, the beans, the cheese. You can put it in any order you want, it really doesn't matter. And then it's just like one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. We got the meat, we got the beans, and we got the cheese. And then we'll start with another layer of the tortillas, dip in the enchilada sauce. Sometimes I like to like pour the enchilada sauce over the tortillas. You don't want it to be too dry. If it's a little more juicy, the better, I think. It kind of is able to add a little more of the crust to the bottom and the sides, which is where all the flavor is. And rinse, repeat, and then we'll do that until basically we're going to be all the way up to the top of the pan, because I ended up, as I tend to do, making much more of the product than I intended. We preheat the oven up to 400 while we're doing this. We're going to end up baking this for a while, and towards the end, we're gonna kind of try to broil the top of it, get a crispy cheese over the top of the dish, and it tastes pretty good. We'll see what I mean. All right, we got a few layers going on here. We're starting to run a little low on the first can of enchilada sauce. We're putting this next one in. This one actually tastes a lot better. Like enchilada sauce, La Preferita. Remember, they're pretty good. Honestly, they have probably the best flavor. Old El Paso, fuck you, like all these American shit. No. I know it's probably Spanish rather than like Mexican, but they deliver on the flavor. So we're gonna pour some of this. It's looking a little dry. We're going to pour some of this in there, moisten it up a little bit, and we'll replace this as this starts to go down as we're dipping our tortillas into it. And we're going to keep going with that. So we're all done with all the ingredients we have. All right, we got it all done. You know, as you're making this, it's going to want to like bunch up in the middle. Just kind of like press down on it, like jiggle it out, make it kind of reach out towards the edges again. It's a very messy dish. If you're maybe a little drunk, you can probably be a little more good with it, but maybe wear something a little you're willing to get dirty. What we're gonna do now, my lid's a little dirty right now. We're gonna clean it off. We're gonna put that on top. We got our oven up to 400. We're gonna pop that in our oven and cook that for about maybe 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes. You know, it depends on how you're feeling about it. It's kind of like a stew almost. Not really, but kind of. Make sure it's like nice and very heated through. I'm going to add a bit more of this enchilada sauce to make sure it's nice and saucy. And we'll come back when everything's all nice and cooked and ready to go. Alright, we just took this out of the oven. It's a little more juicy than I'm used to. Although usually I take the lid off and kind of air it out at the end. Well, I did add a lot more enchilada sauce than usual too. But this is ready to go. We're going to put our corn. We got some, I know I added 3 containers of corn tortillas. We're going to put some of this frozen corn in the dish of a million vegetable. The vegetable dish, it's been infused with the lifeblood of a billion vegetables throughout many lifetimes, many generations. So we're going to cook the corn, we'll put some butter in, maybe a little bit of salt. We'll put the enchilada casserole on a plate with the corn, and then it's going to be really tasty. We're going to eat it, and you're going to see me have like a really good time eating it. Alright, we got everything done. It's been a while, believe it or not, but everything is ready to go. Took a bit out of here. I took most of the excess enchilada sauce, so it's going to be a little extra enchilada-y on my plate right now. It'll kind of even out as I eat this whole dish. We got our corn cooked up, threw some butter on there. I am going to put a little bit of the black label on here because, you know, I tried it off camera. It actually is really good. It's not like super crazy spicy, and it has a really powerful like smoky flavor to it, which is something I really like. So we're going to throw a little bit on there. We're going to take a bite, get a little bit of this, get a little bit of that, a little bit at the same time, and it's going to be really tasty. Alright, here we go. Hopefully it's not too spicy or hot, temperature-wise. It's really good. The hot sauce adds a little bit of extra kick to it. It's already got a little bit of a kick to it. But the smokiness that it brings to it kind of like fully brings everything together. I don't know what I'm saying. It's delicious. It's really good. I'm going to enjoy running through the rest of this pot. Might take me a while. I might have to freeze some of this, otherwise it might go bad, but it's really good. Sorry if it ruined your idea of Mexican cuisine, but guess what? Taco Bell exists, so it's kind of the same thing. But, you know, anyways, if you enjoy, let me know. If there's something you want me to cook, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.